Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the show that never ends. I'm Rod, your happy hippie, and I'm here to do a entry into Ron Haggerty's contest. Everyone knows Ron Haggerty, great channel. Um, he's having a thing where he wants us to show our punk rock albums, and I feel like Steve Carlson tonight because I've got my daughter's cat with me, hanging out. I'm actually getting kind of attached to this thing. Um, Anyway, Ron Haggerty's having a contest. Show 5 punk albums, your favorite, or any 5 that you have. If you don't have your favorite any longer, he understands. Um, and this is fun because I really love punk rock back in high school. And I guess I could pick any album out of this Ramones box set and show. But I am going with their live one. It's a live. This is a English pressing. Sound is great for a live album. Very raw. Some great stuff. And this is a first one I believe they did without Dee Dee. And this is cool. It's a promo copy. You can see the Ramones, Animal Boy, to the late part of their career, the final couple years of their wonderful career the Ramones had. A great punk band, raw energy. They were to punk what AC/DC was to heavy metal, man. All their shit was the fucking same couple chords, just hell bent for leather. Gotta love the Ramones. Show this soundtrack. I picked this up on a road trip over the summer. I met it with Randy Weaver of the VCC. Randall Weaver, great channel. We met up in Nashville, and this is one of the things I bought. On the soundtrack, you've got The Damned, you got TSOL, The Cramps, 45 Grave, kind of a low-budget horror movie. I remember it coming out. I remember the music from the movie. I saw the soundtrack and I had to jump on it. Really cool punk soundtrack. And another soundtrack I don't have, but I'd love to get is DOA. DOA, Dead on Arrival. It's a punk movie. In fact, you can watch it. It's either Netflix or Amazon Prime. They have it on there to watch. And I remember one day back in high school, me and my friend Barry, who was in a punk band, I'm going to show his album in a minute, and our friend Valerie and a couple other people skipped school, stole a bottle of liquor from one of our parents, and we went back to Barry's house, and we watched that movie. It was such a cool movie. It was made by young people, for young people, all about punk rock. So it was really cool at the time to watch. And I remember I went to school half the day and I worked half the day. I was in a work program, and a friend of mine, Valerie, called me in sick to Gifford's Ice Cream. And she's 16 years old, and she sounds 16. And she's supposed to be my mother calling me in, and they didn't buy it, and I got fired. But I had a great day that afternoon. And like I said, the guy's house we're at, his name was Barry. He was a friend of ours, and this was his band, Phlegm. It's another one of my favorite punk albums. I think there was only 400 of these made, so it's kind of a rare album. They were from the suburbs of Washington, D.C. I think one of the members was actually straight edge. I know most of them were not. Definitely were not, but I think one guy was straight edge. And speaking of straight edge, I guess the number one straight edge punk band and I could think of would be Minor Threat. And they were from the same county that I lived in, up in Maryland, right outside of D.C. And I just could not get down with the straight edge scene. But these guys kicked ass, man. Minor Threat. They weren't like... They were teetotalers. They didn't drink. They didn't do drugs. But it wasn't over any moral reasons. I mean, these guys cussed like sailors. They would fight you at the drop of the hat. Most of them were in tip-top shape. They were skaters. I mean, They were wild, just crazy fuckers. They just did not believe in polluting their bodies and minds with drugs and alcohol. And looking back on it, that was probably a wise choice of theirs, because it can cause a lot of damage to a lot of people, destroys lives, and that's another subject. But anyway, Minor Threat. I've had a couple of their albums. I've had the EP. I remember buying it when it came out. And Ian MacKaye, he worked at Yesterday and Today Records in Rockville, Maryland. And it was really cool because we knew he was the lead singer of Minor Threat. It was a cool time. Another punk favorite of mine, The Stooges Funhouse. This is one I have to get another copy of. Because look at this, man. Can you tell? Maybe not, you can tell, but it's warped. It's warped. Kind of pisses me off. Warped just enough where I don't want to screw up my stylist by buying it. But Iggy Pop, definitely, man, a tremendous influence in the whole punk scene. The Clash. Great album, one of my favorite punk albums. This cat right here, Jim Carroll, the Catholic Boy album, fantastic punk stuff. Those are people who died. God, I love that song. Fantastic punk album. The Circle Jerks. This is the anniversary. The 40th anniversary. Came out in 1980. Group Sex. I remember having it back in the day, and I got it over the summer. Came with a booklet and all kinds of cool stuff for the 40th anniversary. The Circle Jerks. And this is Joe King Carrasco. He was a Texan. He played Tex-Mex, but he really bordered on punk because he was crazy. I mean, he was a nut. Wonderful guitar player, great person. It's funny because in like 9th or 10th grade, he had a small hit with Party Weekend. It's a party weekend. And we watched him live. We watched Saturday Night Live. He was playing Saturday Night Live. And I remember we were at a friend's house, John Shin, and we all were glued to the TV while he performed. And he actually ran off the stage during his performance up in the audience. He was the first performer to get banned from SNL. And I thought, God, it's crazy, man. It's the coolest thing. Flash forward to about 94. And I got to know Joe King Carrasco. I got to become a friend of his living in Texas when I was in radio. And I told him the story how we watched him live that night. And I've got a few more of his CDs that came out later. I just didn't pull them down. But he was right there, man. He was not mainstream rock and roll. He mixed a little bit of everything. If you were into punk and you're one of those guys or one of those girls who were, it's got to be 100% punk, cut and dry. You wouldn't have dug him. Because you would have said, man, he mixes too much other stuff with it. Or if you were a rock and roll fan, you would have looked at it and said, this guy's punk rock. I don't like punk rock. But anyway, those are some of my favorite punk albums. This cat's a pain in the butt over here, man. Anyway, Ron Haggerty's having a really cool contest. Check his channel out. I think everyone in the VC knows Ron Haggerty. He's been in it for a long time. Very positive, good spiritual guy, good Christian man. Definitely check out his channel. And the prize he's giving away is a Black Flag album. Love Black Flag. I got to see him live at the 930 Club. I've had a couple of their albums in the past. I don't any longer. How much time have I got? I'm going to throw in a little story. In high school, I was really into punk. Loved it, loved it, loved it. I slowly started getting out of it. And about 20 years old, I had a huge box of punk albums. And had some things going on in my life. And I was offered a certain amount of money for it. Not very much at all, considering what they'd be worth today. I let it go to go out and party. And I really regret that decision. But we live and we learn. Ron Haggerty, thanks for hosting this contest. Peace.